Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. El Salvador buys 1,000 Bitcoin. Bitcoin will accumulate heavy. 1,000 Bitcoin wallets hit a 4-month high, and Bitcoin realized losses hit minus 16%, which is typically a level where we start seeing some recovery. We'll look into social, we'll look into news, and we'll look into the questions of my community in this video. If you are looking for my TA analysis, you can find that video went live around 40 minutes ago. Then you can watch it. I'll put down potentially another update in the evening. Let's go with those news. Starting with El Salvador, 1,000 Bitcoin as prices drop and IMF pressure mounts. The country has added nearly $100 million to the national Bitcoin treasury as BTC trades below 90K. What do we need to know? When El Salvador has increased its Bitcoin hold is now over 1,000 Bitcoin despite significant market sell-off. The country's total Bitcoin reserve now is reaching 7.5K BTC, maintained by a policy of buying 1 Bitcoin per day. President's recent Bitcoin purchase comes amid discussions with US officials on digital asset regulation. So here is the question is, are they gonna be able to continue doing so? I'm very curious if the president is gonna continue the policy of 1 Bitcoin per day, even during the bear market, and how that could affect potentially getting, let's say, a 78% drawdown, which is what we tend to see in bear markets. Although I have to admit, in my analysis in the live stream on Tuesday I remember noticing that the technicals are calling for potentially for a disappointing bottom of the bear market. What I mean by that is maybe this bear market I am open to see for the first time not a minus 80% drawdown, maybe a lot less than that, and that is just purely based on the fact that in this cycle we never experience a euphoria phase, and well, that typically leads in technical to something compensating and maybe not getting such a big drop in this bear market. Second news that is qualified as one of the most important in the past 24 hours is the Bitcoin wallet surge to 4-month high as retail investors exit. Large Bitcoin holders have increased their position to a 4-month high. And I got a few charts. I remember I picked this one in here, BTC 30-day demand change, permanent holder addresses and ETFs. This one is saying, so the biggest accumulation is happening during a sell-off to 89K. And you think it's over for BTC, obviously challenging all of those that are actually feeling bearish. But as you can see, let's read between lines in here. Each time that this peaks, this particular indicator tracking the permanent holder addresses and ETFs, it tends to be in a peak. So personally, seeing this peaking at the moment doesn't necessarily give me the full reassurance that that is going to save the day. Neither I'm tempted to compare what's going on in here versus these 3 boxes, because in these 3 boxes, all I'm learning from it is that they time it absolutely wrong. These particular whales were buying at each and every single top. Yeah, there were higher highs after that, but then I cannot conclude that necessarily they're for the first time buying at the right time. So I'm going to let it go, and I'm not necessarily going to say that that is sufficient to save the day. Bob Diamond, the former Barclays CEO and now the head of Atlas Merchant Capital, views the recent turmoil in global assets markets as a healthy correction, not the start of a full-blown bear market. Diamond points out that investors are still working out how the price risk assets amid rapid technological shift. And you have to read this with a pinch of salt, because these people typically have a tendency to say what is convenient for them. So you never know what they really want, and obviously they want you to continue investing. Bitcoin BTC hits 16% loss, is the bottom finally in. And I'm gonna focus on this post in here, shared from Ali, that is showing a very interesting indicator. Bitcoin usually rebounds when traders realize loss margin falls below minus 12%. Of course, the past performance that you're being shown in this post reaches around the beginning of the bull market. Basically, all we are seeing is how this particular strategy performs in the bull market. What we are not being shown in here is what level do you reach at the point of break when you shift from the bull market into the bear market. That's all I care. I don't care about people showing charts telling you that something has been succeeding consistently all the bull market. That is the wrong angle to do the analysis. But fair enough, if we are still in a bull market, this minus 12 might be the best opportunity. And the $1 million question is, are we still in a bull market? So I'm going to do a separate video, but I really want to cover what's going on with NVIDIA, the earnings, and the general markets. I also want to cover Ethereum. Too many videos for a single day, but there's a lot going on. Quinten says that the number of entities with balance over 1,000 Bitcoin is going vertical. I hope you understand what this means. So I didn't see it as in the chart like this. The other charts don't show it so clearly. So it's pretty interesting. All the way in here, it went up like that. And then we start getting the first correction and we get some whales buying. Unfortunately, again, Quinten, we are not seeing what was the behavior when we were shifting from bull to bear market. And from the back of my head, what I remember is when you get the first drawdown, a massive one, for example, in 2021, from 69 to 33K, all the way down, the whales were acting as if it was a buy the dip opportunity. And many of them ended up holding those coins for very long. So it's not necessarily 100% guarantee that if they are buying, they're timing it perfect. They tend to be the ones that time things best, but not always. Martin is saying another wave of short-term holders capitulating. 65,000 Bitcoin just moved to exchange at a loss. And this morning in my technical video, I cover the SOPR indicator. Let me see if we can have a quick look and quantify really what's going on. And as you can see in here, the SOPR has pinched that level on 14th of November. So that was the point where there was the biggest capitulation. But if we want to quantify that and compare it to previous period, that pinch 0.99, and sometimes we have pinch 0.98, but only in extreme times. In all this area in 2022, bear market capitulation, we pinch 93, but that is an actual last capitulation before starting a bull market. We're not necessarily going to see that, unless we get something like COVID-like event that crashes all markets by 30%. But for example, here, beginning of the bear, we see some selling in here at a loss, but actually it magnifies as you get deeper into the bear market. So initially you see some people realizing losses. 6 months after, a little bit more people, and 6 months after, a lot of people. And that is what you can say, okay, that was capitulation. At that point, whoever was left to sell, they sold. So what can we expect really around this area in here if we are entering a bear market? Should we be expecting a massive amount of selling from losses? I don't think so. According to past performance, we start just seeing mild capitulation. Interesting, because I was about to say that we should be expecting a major capitulation from the SOPR, but it's not necessarily true. A mild one will just do potentially to see some bounces. Historical Bitcoin return after extreme fear. Given that we are around 10, it's worth having a look at this past performance. Maybe we can use it as a strategy. So for example, you got in here from 2018 to 2025, and many days after we can see what happens. For example, 7 day, 15, 30, 80, 180, and the associated reason for that panic. And you can see that after 180 days, there is plenty of situations where not necessarily you end up in the green. And in this particular case, in 2022, you got a -7, -10, and you remain in the red. So there is literally no exit unless you are very good at averaging down, or if you take losses and then you enter from lower and you try to reclaim part of those losses, whichever is your preference. The vast majority saw some green, like this one saw a 1% before going into big drawdown, but that is the same period actually. Everything else has some times where you see the light and then back into red potentially. Axel says that local market stress remains elevated following the sharp corrective phase on November 17 to 18. The local stress index is at 67, and this is on November 19, 8 a.m. for me, so a few hours ago from the time I'm recording, which corresponds to the elevated zone, above the watch threshold 64, but still without critical alerts. The peak of tension occurred on the evening of November 17 when we crossed below 92K, when realized volatility spiked its score up to 455. And aggressive selling intensified. Over the past 24 hours, the index has partially consolidated within the 62 to 68 range, but the short-term slope to 62 indicates a renewed increase in stress over the past several hours. So I will say we are still in the area of the stress, and it might remain like that for a little bit longer. Do you remember this? I commented on this on yesterday's live stream about the yearly candle. You can go and see my full analysis on the yearly. There's timestamps in the long video of 1.5 hours. But I've been calling for a red yearly candle on a topping year now for a couple of years. And why? Because there is a trend to reduce the closing price on the topping year. Let's look at the questions from my community, and then we can end this video. After this video, I'm gonna do a video about general markets. Make sure that you don't miss that one. So first question is from BMO. Please look at the crude oil. I will look into that in the general markets video. Gold and tech stocks. We'll cover tech stocks in a separate video. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss it. What are your thoughts about the strength of the BTC, considering we are about par now with the 2021 high, allowing for inflation, and that's with massive institutional support? Has it time come and it's now going to? Before I answer that question, let me tell you about Tubit. It's a great exchange. 2 minutes to register, non-KYC required. You can trade from anywhere in the world with leverage, with all coins. The link is in the description, and by using that link, you can claim the 30,000 bonus reward if you deposit your own money, but you don't have to. If you don't deposit, they will give you 50 welcome bonus as soon as you sign up for Tubit. The link is in the description. So despite the fact that there are institutions, well, what do we mean by institutions? Institutional support, well, people call that to BlackRock. BlackRock is just a platform like Binance that offers accounts that you can sign up and start holding Bitcoin as a retail customer. People call it institutions because they both offer accounts for corporate and for retail, but there's certainly a combination of both. When there is fear, when there's blood on the streets, those retail are gonna sell via BlackRock, so there is not such a thing as someone really smart sitting in BlackRock and trading Bitcoin or deciding that they are bullish on Bitcoin. It's just the same people using a different platform with, some exposure to some companies, but I doubt that there is so much of that, just my own opinion. And yet the volatility of Bitcoin is constraining, and I'm expecting potentially, and I'm open to the idea of the bear market being less significant to the downside compared to the previous one, because this cycle has been underperforming in terms of extreme greed. Therefore, we could see a reduced fear by the end of the bear market. My question will be related to Ethereum and its relation to BTC cycle. Is there a chance for offloading some during BTC's last kiss goodbye, or what potential do you see in the current market situation? It really doesn't depend on Ethereum now. The last word is on Bitcoin itself. And of course, Bitcoin needs to report to general markets. So if general markets say, we are done, we are gonna dump, then Bitcoin won't have a kiss goodbye. It will have some bounces here and there, but it will go straight into a bear market. And if that happens, Ethereum, with Bitcoin falling, can have some relief to the upside, but it won't be able to put new all-time highs in that case. If Bitcoin starts doing a recovery over 110K, I will expect Ethereum to do a big comeback. I would love to see you do short reaction videos to some of the 1 million channel. I could do that, and I thought about doing that. I even thought about commenting or watching certain videos and making fun of them. I will have a big laugh. Unfortunately, I can do that only with my friends, sharing a beer, without recording and uploading to YouTube. You know what happened multiple times when people, influencers, started mentioning specific names of channels. They have massive amounts of cash that they can use for lawyers, and immediately they threat anyone that is saying anything bad about the specific channel. If you say the name of the channel and you say that that sucks, if you do that consistently, the lawyers can use that against me, and they can close down my channel, and I can end up in jail, burnt, and then who's gonna rescue my position? No, it's serious. You cannot really do that. It will be really fun, but the more popular it will become, then the more they are gonna come after and, claim some compensation. Right, guys, I'm done with this video. Thanks so much for watching. These were the news of the day. I insist that for technicals, you need to watch this video in here. I do it in a separate video. Hit the like, subscribe, write down a comment down below, and we keep getting videos just like this one. Bye bye.